Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Coming back at you today with another rough country video. Today, simple tasks as some might think, and a lot of times it isn't too bad, but the 2-inch leveling lift kit for the Toyota Tacomas, and I believe these fit from like 05 to 23. Pretty universal. It's an anodized spacer. You can get them in red or black, and they go on top of the factory strut. So you got to take that out of the vehicle. So there's a little bit of a process involved in that, and they estimate up to 4 hours of time to get that job done. Give or take. That's just an estimate, just a ballpark. So, yeah, we'll see. We're going to get this thing in the truck. This is a 2018 Tacoma. It's getting a 2-inch rough country spacer lift in the front, so we can run a slightly more aggressive tire if you'd like to, a little bit bigger tire, and change the stance of this truck. So come along, let's get this thing in. Oh, and as always, thanks for watching the channel. And if you hit that like and subscribe, huge. Share it, tell a friend, I don't care. Yeah, it helps our little channels out. It really does, guys. All right, guys, I just want to do a quick little walk around. As you can see, the rake, the factory rake to these things. This one's actually not horrible. I've seen him have a lot more rake than this. It's definitely higher in the rear than the front. He may have some weight in the rear, who knows? But after you lift the front, it'll be substantial. Like the front will be, if anything, sometimes they almost seem like the front's a little higher until they settle out. But I wanted to give you a good look at what that looked like. Some people afterwards are like, oh man, I kind of want the rake. I want to lift the back up a little bit, and they put a 1-inch block in the back or something. You can always, there's always that option. But anyway, that's the walk around. Let's bring it in. Oh, and it's a cool effect where you lay the phone or the camera down and you drive over it without crushing the camera. I'm going to do that. All right, it's worth mentioning that if you're gonna do suspension work or lift kit, always check your front end first. Check for playing the ball joints, check for playing the tie rod end. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And as you can see, it's time for a set of tires. Mostly, it just needed to be rotated. However, they got a lot of dry cracking going on, so it's time. All right, this tire is actually even worse than the other side. I just completely wore through the outer layer here, so it needs tires. At the very least, to get him down the road. He's not ready for tires today. We got to get these onto the rear because these are not going to last more than... They're just not going to last. All right, it's worth mentioning, too, that you can do this entire job without a lift. So you could do this with jack stands and a jack. You need, obviously, the basic hand tools, a metric set of hand tools, a jack stands, but having a lift clearly makes it a lot easier. Just want to mention that. All right, so in a nutshell, what's going to happen is this strut assembly has to come out of here. So in order to achieve that, because remember, all it's doing is putting a spacer on top of this. This pushes everything down. He still get his factory ride, but everything's going to be a little bit lower. But to achieve that, you've got to take out all these fasteners here. As you can see, everything's rusty. The sway bar link has to come off. The tie rod end, and that's nice and rusty. And the only thing that isn't is the upper ball joint. So that has to come off as well. So you got upper ball joint, upper strut bolts, sway bar link, and tie rod to get this thing out of here. Oh, sorry. And the lower bolt for the strut. So this is quite a few steps just to get this thing out of here to be able to pry this assembly down. So for starters, we can go ahead and get the sway bar link disconnected. The tie rod end disconnected. I'm going to go ahead and hit penetrating oil and all this stuff and give it a good 5 or 10 minutes to soak in. All right, my penetrating oil here has got like, it's got a weak stream. Must be old. Sorry. All right, as far as sockets and tools and whatnot, your log's gonna be 21. I believe the ball joint and the tie rod end are 19. I think the sway bar link is a 17. The nuts on top of the strut are 14. So just offhand there, and I think the lower is a 19 as well. All right, so in true Maine rusty style, the cotter pin was completely rotted inside the stud here of the outer tie rod end. So we're going to have to either drive that out or drill it out. So be aware you're going to run into stuff like that on older vehicles, even though it's only 4, 5, 6, almost 7 years old, I guess. So makes sense. Do it for an oil undercoating. All right, so I was able to tap out with a punch and get the what was left of the cotter pin out of there. We got the nut off. We got the nut off the sway bar link. You could have taken it off from down there as well. It was just easier to get to it up here. So this is where I took it off from, both sides. Now we have their funky little clip on the top here. And that again will be a 19 millimeter. I don't think I can get an impact on it. I'll have to use the wrench. We'll go ahead and loosen that, but not take it off to allow some force pulling down on this. Smack this with a ball peen hammer, 3-pound sludge, whatever. Don't hit the boot. That'll break that loose. You're also going to smack this to break this one loose. All right, that's that funky cotter pin type clip they use. And these don't rust like regular cotter pins, so that's actually a decent setup. So let me go ahead and see if we can't get this nut crack loose. All right, update. I was able to get my little stubby impact Milwaukee. This thing is a 1/2 inch. It's tiny, and it is powerful and works awesome. All right, talk to the customer. We're a tire distributor. We're gonna get a set of Toyo tires for this thing. And what are these things? I can't remember. Whew. Toyo Open Country ATs, sorry. And the size, 265/70/16. So his factory size is a 245/75/16, real small. He could have went with the 75 series. It would have been an inch taller. Obviously a lot more aggressive tire than what he's got on there. The street tires, soft little street tires. But you could get some minor rubbing if you go under like a 2.5 inch lift. And this is just the 2. So he didn't really want to deal with the rubbing. So we went with a 265/70 series, which essentially is the same height as those, but it's a lot more aggressive and a little wider. So it'll still look badass. I doubt we're going to see those today. So we may have to make another appointment to get those installed for him. But we got a nice set of cool tires coming in for him. He'll be happy with them too. All right, so the tire rod ends, they fought me just like the cotter pins. They took some persuading. Yeah, this thing idles. Literally, listen to it, it's idling. Oh, yeah. All right, so sway bar link disconnected, tire rod end disconnected, upper ball joint disconnected, but the nut's still on. Lower strut bolt disconnected. Now we're taking the upper struts off. The nut, it'd be nice using an air ratchet, but they are rusted, so they're gonna come off by hand. That's why they say these jobs can take, well, as long as they do, because, well, they can take into account New England and rust. But anyway, let me get the rest of those off. Then we'll be able to lower this down and pull this assembly out. We can bolt the spacer on the top. I'll show you that. It's worth mentioning if you've never worked on these. The upper strut bolts, these two outer ones aren't bad. That rear one, it's terrible. They put it against the inner fender. Barely get a ratchet in there if you can at all, if you have the right ratchet. If not, you're doing it by a wrench. Yeah. All right, now that all the bolts are out and these upper bolts are out, in order to get the ball joint nut off, you stick a pry bar in here lightly. It actually doesn't take much effort at all. Pull that down like so. I'm doing it while holding the camera. Then you can take this nut off, let it back up, and out it comes, the ball joint and everything. Just make sure nothing just goes flying everywhere. But it can help to have an extra set of hands. But now we can take that lower bolt out and pull this assembly out. All right, all that work just to get this bad boy out. But here it is, on the bench. So you got your strut assembly fully loaded. Remember that, there's a lot of pressure. So you're not gonna be messing with this stud right here at all. Here's your 3 mounting studs. The spacer itself basically literally goes on top of that, and you're gonna bolt it back down with your factory hardware. However, if your studs, like these do, stick up beyond the spacer, barely, you need to grind those flat to the flush, like flush them with the top of the spacer so they're not beyond the spacer. Because you don't want those studs coming up through. Remember, you put those would be under here now and they'd be sticking into the metal and it wouldn't actually be riding on the spacer. So you do want to grind those down. So take note of that. Definitely take a look. It isn't much, but it is beyond a little bit. So we got to grind those down a little bit before we go ahead and put those together. All right, just like that, we are flush or below the spacer. Now we can put our factory nuts back on and then install the strut. All right, and then you simply just slide the strut back in there, simply. Just hand tighten these top fasteners right now. We're gonna have to pry down on the lower control arm in order to get the lower section in there. Remember, everything's kind of pushed down a little bit now. So you might need a buddy to help you kind of pry down that lower control arm a little bit. Watch your brake lines and your ABS lines, and then get that bolt back in. All right, without a helper, I was able to get the bottom bolt in. A little bit of a challenge because everything's pushed down. Now we're gonna go ahead and tighten down the upper fasteners. As we tighten everything down, we'll tighten down the lower fastener. Then I'll put a ball joint on. I mark everything with a paint marker or something afterwards so you know you've tightened it down. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll get on the other side and get that done. You don't need to see that, but all in all, that'll be the gist of it. All right, question for you guys. You didn't see me tighten those bolts. whether I tightened them or not. Take a look. Let me know if those are tight. Like we were talking about, match marking after you tighten things. Putting marks on there. One, you know you tightened it. You don't have to go back. It's tight. You marked it. You're done. Two, it's a visual reference. You can tell I tightened that without seeing me do it. It's the little things. Whatever. I like that. I like match marking things. It's something I do. It's old school. I wish a lot of more of the newer, younger guys would do that. Just a great way to check yourself and know that you've been someplace and you tightened something. So I'm going to go ahead and get the lower strut bolt tight. Then I'm going to go ahead and get the upper ball joint popped in. Swing the sway bar link back down where it belongs. And then it's just tie rod. Get everything tightened up. All right. One other thing that helps you get the upper ball joint in place is if you lower the vehicle down on the control arm to start pushing the lower control arm up. It's worth mentioning that. You could use a jack as well, again, if you're doing this in the driveway, but it just less you got to really pull down on that upper control arm to get things to happen. All right, so here we go. They're in. Upper ball joint's in. We're going to go ahead and get that torque down, but you can only torque to some degree because you've got to be able to line up that cotter pin with that hole, so remember that. Then, once that's done, swing our sway bar link up and in, get that on and tighten down, and then our tie rod. And then bam, it's done. It's worth noting as well, the customer always suggests you're checking the front end, always suggest the front end alignment. I've got these soaking. These don't always move well for people, so keep that in mind, make them aware of that. Worst case scenario, you couldn't end up replacing an entire lower control arm if you've got to cut all this stuff out. It can get into a nightmare. This truck's not in horrible shape, so hopefully they move. All right, just like that, we are all tightened down. Everything's back in. Our lines are all good. We're double checking everything here. Sway bar links in and tight. Tie rod ends tight. Lower strut bolts tight. Upper strut bolt, never touched it. But the mounting bolts, yes, tight. Lines are good. Everything is good. We're going to go ahead and throw some penetrating oil on the tie rod adjusters as well as the cam adjusters. Get this thing back on the ground. The tires aren't going to be here until tomorrow, so we'll be making another appointment to put those on. So we're going to go ahead and put these tires back on it and see the difference. All right, we got our little tires back on this thing. We're gonna go ahead and lower this right back down to the ground and get our first look at the stance. This would definitely benefit from a New Hampshire oil undercoating application that we do here, or they get it done wherever they want. But before it gets out of hand, it's definitely due. All right, down, 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 down. You guys are going down. All right, big difference. Definitely needs an alignment. Already worn out tires, but that front, I can tell without even bringing it outside yet, is a big difference. If anything, it's a touch higher than the rear, which will set out a little bit after you drive it. Worst case scenario, if he doesn't like the look, he could go up another inch in the rear. We could put blocks and U-bolts, something simple, and get a nice break back to it. But this is gonna look killer with a set of tires. So give me a minute, we'll get it outside. I got other stuff in the way, and we'll do a walk around. All right, guys, tires will be in for this Tacoma tomorrow, but we got it all done, test drive done, and then when it's convenient for him, we'll get these tires put on for him. Sooner than later, because those front tires are bad. Check it out. All right, there she be. No more rake at all. It's gonna look nice with some bigger tires on there. If anything, the front may settle out a little bit. The front maybe is even a touch higher than the rear, which I've seen this a bunch of times anyway. And if it's something that if they're going to use the truck a lot and put a lot of weight in the back, we could put an inch block in the back with some U-bolts, and they could maintain a rake or get that rake back. But very cool look. It's definitely something they should do from the factory, get rid of that rake. My God. I get it. I get the point of it, but everybody wants it. Wants this look. It just looks so much better. All right, let's get rid of these little skinners. Put some new ones on. All right, here we go. Old tire off, new one going on. I'll put an old one next to the new one once I get this one all mounted up. And he's got the black hubcaps that go over all that aluminum wheel after. All right, here we go. First look. Big difference. I mean, it's not a huge difference in height, maybe half an inch or so. And we knew that, but it's a lot wider of a tread pattern itself. Notice it's a squared off tire, not a rounded little street tire. A lot more aggressive looks. Of course, missing the hubcaps that go on there. Those will be on after we balance them, but that is a pretty cool look right there. So I'll go ahead and get them all mounted up for them, and then we'll get it outside and take another look. All right, out with the old, in with the new Toyos. Now, we're gonna lower it down, torque the wheels up here, and then we'll get it outside and show you it. All right, guys, we got it outside here. Take a look with the Toyo 265 7016s up from the 245s. Definitely fits the truck like it should be. All right, so check that out. That is a good look. It just, I mean, it looks appropriate now. Like, it's aggressive. It's a decent tread pattern. It's a decent tread print on the ground. The tires look appropriate size for the truck now with a leveling kit in the front. So it's pretty badass looking. I think the only other upgrade that would make it look more aggressive, and he's got plenty of room to do it, is a set of like 1.5-inch wheel spaces would give this thing a pretty darn aggressive stance. So that's pretty cool. So I guess for the second time, this will wrap this video up with the rough country level lift that we put in this thing. I believe I say it early on, 2-inch. Where we took the whole struts out and put the spacers on the top, took you through that process, and then a set of Toyo 265 70 16-inch tires. Take your stock Tacoma and make it look more like a truck. Pretty badass, I must say. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hit that like, subscribe. Scott from Flippin' Customized.